I just realized that my stuff was muted. My bad. Welcome back, you guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful night. Welcome back to day 3. We're gonna start streaming today. Again, come and join me for Asia session. Nice to see you, bro. Sorry if you guys didn't hear me talk right now. I had my mic muted. Tweaked a little. Like another, it looks like another night of low volume. Kind of starting to get a little bit old on that. Sorry if you guys didn't hear me. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh shoot, I did leave my weekly low too. Alright, let's see. Talk about today's price action, huh? Excuse me. Excuse me. Woohoo. Let's see. Why does this look like it's still? This looks like it still wants to be in such a continuation. It's kind of insane. I set this mental trade such a long while ago, and yet we're starting to see another bit of this. I wonder how long we'll be stuck in this range too, just because of the weekly. We're in such brutal territory, but we took this up like nothing. Crazy to think that we're gonna make all-time highs when things like the things that are happening around the world are happening. Yeah, it looks like a bullish liquidity sweep. On where? Let's see. Are you guys seeing that? I definitely did a bullish grab, a bullish liquidity sweep as soon as it came down here. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because look at ES. ES, I had this 1 hour FEG earlier. It just the chop. I couldn't justify taking anything earlier with the chop, but look at this perfect bounce in the 1 hour FEG. Right after this, you could have taken anything. Right after that, you could have taken anything to the upside. Stop would have been below the FEG. Targets would have been expected up higher, but obviously you would have had to sit there and expect the move to go for quite a while actually. Sitting through all this chop, nah. I just can't justify that. Some people might. And also we rejected a 4 hour FEG that I have up here, which we're above, and I think on ES if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're slightly above it now. Same 4 hour slash daily. Let's see. Dang, why are these so behind? Sheesh, I hate these little candles. We're just, actually we did already tap, like I said, into that 4 hour too. Interesting. I see a solid 15 minute that we're holding inside. Nice little 15 minute. Let's see. This is so choppy again. Oh, I'm not a big fan of this chop. Would have been up what on this 23? Had another 40 points. Dang, this mental trade actually would have been in profit. I would have been stopped out of break even at one point. 47 points, sheesh. I mean, this range has something in it. Nothing crazy. Honestly, there's nothing. I'm just kind of mumbling to myself. There's not much to look at. I'm just kind of looking over the charts, reviewing. I might even go over a few other charts just for some other things I'm looking at for. Maybe options. I can maybe talk a little bit about my options that I'm looking for tomorrow. Same little 15-minute FEG. For whatever reason, we just can't seem to get past this.
Look at this trade away. I was going for the long, and I fucking, it started taking me out to the bottom, and I just exited out right here, bro. Look, it fucking stopped there and bounced. I should just stayed in it, wait.
We got another low volume day. We just expect a slow little rally to the top today. Or could we actually maybe expect a solid move? And I'm scared that they're gonna, but this is a nice little bear trap. Come down, liquidity grab, then come back up. Just because we're in such a range. Right now we're at equilibrium between this high and this low. And actually, this is the daily high and the daily low. We're just stuck on this ranged area. Yeah, I'd rather not force any trades or anything. Anything that's not worth taking. This could be a nice little slow creep up. This could potentially. Maybe it comes up, grabs this liquidity. Let's see. By the way, this is just a mental trade. This isn't a trade that I'm in. This is something that I just earlier I would have set a play based on this bounce. I would have taken this earlier and could have caught, 20, 30 points, whatever the case may have been. But it's not something that I took. We don't really get much movement, 8:30, 8:45, somewhere around that time. I don't really want to, like I said, I don't want to force any trades. I probably will take it easy. I probably won't. I'm not trying to force anything. But do want to do is set up how to show you guys my P&L live when I'm trading. That'd be sick. Honestly, this might actually set up for a rip. That's crazy. Oh, my fault, guys. I gotta take this call real quick. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Want to hear one of the most satisfying sounds in the world? Salud. Una coquita. What that one? Let's take a look at some other stocks. I want to kind of review anything maybe tech stock related. Man, why is this setup always like this? This should be saved already. Oh, here we go. Weird. Let's go to QQQQ. Let's look at the daily candles. Put the little. Let's take a look. Let's kind of look at this chart. Someone recently told me to look at the 12-hour time frame, and I've never looked at the 12-hour interval, but I'm curious. Someone told me to do this and look at something called the strat method, and I've personally never looked at a chart with this kind of concept, I guess you could say. And the strat method is basically where you have three types of candles, right? You have a candle where it could be a, oh, I guess I can't draw. Oh, there we go. I can't draw. So, in simple terms, let's look at this actually. I'll show you guys what the strap method is. It's actually super interesting. So, here we have a series of 222 candles, right? These candles poked outside of the high, outside of the low, but still have part of the body inside the previous candle. A 1 is a candle that's fully inside on the previous candle. A 3, right, is a candle that completely overtook the body of the candle, either one direction or another. For example, here we have a 1, right? We never broke this low of this previous candle or this high, right? And the whole body of the candle still inside. This 3, why is it a 3? Well, we completely closed and went above this candle as well. And then the 2 is just a continuation, right? It's not a full, what do you call it? A full takeover like a 3, but it's still closing above and slightly having part of the body inside the previous candle. So here in this case, they told me to look at the 12 hour. And I kind of want to see what it is that they wanted me to see here. I'll tell you what, we have a 2-1 right here at all-time highs. And usually that means that you would take a play either at the break of a level with interest, which in this case would be anything above that level being a major level to hold. Oh, I thought I would have had red. And then your entries would be based off breaking above here on these highs, and then anywhere below these lows, to then target, right, highs and lows of the previous candle, and so on and so forth. So now if we were to look at the daily candle as well, right, our daily levels are pretty much aligned with today's candle, which is the high and the low of this. And then if we go down to like the 15-minute and we find inefficiencies, right, or the 1 hour, I'm sorry, we can find areas of interest. Whether it's, for example, here we have a big area on the 4 hour, right? Eventually we'll come down, we'll retest this. This 4 hour. Maybe we have something on the smaller time frames like the 30-minute, which in this case doesn't really look like we have anything besides this one down here that's been unmitigated, which I wouldn't be surprised if we came down to tap into it. 30-minute. And let's see if we have any more. Looks like we have another one here on the 30-minute. And this will be my charting for tomorrow. Unless, we gap up, or for whatever reason overnight, or not gap up, I'm sorry, we climb our way back up overnight, or we, sell off slightly down to this area of interest over here, these lows. But let's look at the 5-minute. Alright, well, we're at equilibrium based on this move from high to low. We're around 50%. And now we just gotta let the move decide which way it wants to take. We had a huge spike up here, grabbed liquidity, pulled it back, generating more now, taking out lows, taking out lows, taking out lows, and now we have internal liquidity as well, based on this daily high, daily low, and then we have internal liquidity. And actually, my daily highs are usually orange, so I will do those orange. Excuse me. Nvidia's been just ripping on a monstrous rampage too. Dang, that is so crazy. What a rampage on Nvidia. Flag, liquidity grab to hit stop losses at this low. Nice little wedge on the way up, And rip we go. What a fucking animal. And we made all time and we're at all time highs on this too. Completely forgotten. AMD, Microsoft was just on a sleeper rampage mode as well. And actually, we just recently had a great day too of probably price action. We came down, swept these lows, swept these lows, inversed right back up. I bet you we'd find an inverse fair value gap somewhere in here. Jeez, look at this. You would have had the fucking hell of an entry. Look at this. 15-minute FEG. Could have taken your entry here, and then you could have targeted liquidity levels up here, and that would have been a great play as well. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Nothing happening honestly yet. Like I said, volume is kind of low across ES and NQ. These candles are quite small, so not gonna look to force anything. I might put in a quick alert. Maybe see if it does anything at these lows, or see if it does anything at these other highs here. If it does pop back up above it, we'll see it. But wow, what a beautiful sell-off. Look at this, came down, grabbed this, come back up. Oh, couldn't make a new high, failed to make a new high again, came down, grabbed more liquidity, and back up we go. The trend with the trend. Wow, that's insane. AMD was on my watch for a good while until I completely got busy trying to set up the streams. Then I wasn't able to I was not able to fully focus my divided attention on that. By the way, is my audio good? Can you guys hear me well? Just want to make sure. It's playing with my emotions right now. Big time, trust me on that one. I feel you on that one. Let it do its thing. It's just chopping around. No need to force any trades tonight or even go red. Even if I was down like $200 tonight, I probably would call it a night. Especially if I already took a stab at something, maybe 500, depending what your risk is. But this is not something that would be for me. This I can see it coming down if it continues to reject this. But again, there's no imbalances, or sorry, inefficiencies, FEGs, whatever you want to call them. There's nothing. I have a trend line, I guess, but we'll see how well that holds. Again, I can't see where liquidity is. I can only play the trend or the charts. We're going back to AMD. Dang, what a beast! Wow, insane to see this. That day. That's insane. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Generate squeeze. And it took off. That's insane. AMD's been on a hell of a stretcher. Everything, the way that it reversed on these bigger time frames is just completely absurd. Like, to see this kind of a reversal. April, February was when shit started hitting the fan. Yep. We gapped down. Now we have one of the biggest gaps here on Apple now. That's a huge gap. I would love to get that filled in at one point. Maybe some long-term plays. It wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe take some monthly contracts on Apple. Let's see if anything else is going on. Oh, huge spike. Can't really justify taking any trades on this low volume. Like, sincerely, I wouldn't want to force any trades either tonight. Honestly, I kind of rather would just kind of sit here and kind of go through the charting. If I see anything, I'll maybe take a look at it, but I don't want to force any trades tonight. Especially if I don't see anything. But I can set this 4 hour on Google. I was keeping my eye on Google for a good while. This one was a super interesting one on my watch list for quite a while too. And look at this. Oh, this is the other candle, so that's okay. Let's see. This already got taken, but we also did sweep this low. Higher high, higher high, sweep this whole area. I gotta see that with strength for it to make sense. 4 hour. I mean, if we get a strong close back above, that probably would be a big watch for me tomorrow. Unless it makes the move pre-market. That could also be another case. That'll be my first target, which would be about $2, and then finish up the move with another. Let's see if I entered at, let's say 173 to 170. That's a $5 move to the upside, which could happen. We had a pretty decent move here. That was a $5 move in one day as well. So let's see. Apple. Apple's been a big one on my watch. It's just been stuck in this huge range. And I know that eventually we're gonna approach the moment where we're gonna come up here and we're gonna take out this huge area in this area here. Right here. That's the big boy that I'm planning on playing. I could see the potential on this, especially after such a recovery from, like I said, from February when we were struggling so much with this drop. We had a massive drop starting from March, April, where's it, May, February, here we go, okay, December, February, right here. So since February, we couldn't go higher. We went above here, swept, came down, right? Bear flag, came down. Damn, that would have been an awesome bear flag to catch. And we've just been chopping around this price area. I really wonder where we're gonna end up going at some point with this. To me, Apple's long-term investment. It's something you don't want to keep in your portfolio, right? You kind of average in. It's been a company that's had very, very monstrous growth throughout the years. We just gotta see what's gonna happen. Even here, we just keep buying it up, buying it up, buying it up. We haven't swept, but we've just been buying higher every single time we've reached this price area here, around this price area. I could definitely see this popping up, coming up, grabbing this. We rejected twice around this price area too, so this is a big area to watch to break through. If you see this breakthrough with strength, we can see these targets coming back up to this demand zone up here, or the ceiling, whatever you guys want to call it. And then at the same time, we also could see, right, we also could see a rejection, retest, or at least a normal pullback, right? And then the continuation to upside. But until I don't see us, get above weekly high, hold this, right, to then attack the daily, it's something that I want to keep in my, in consideration if I'm going to be trading these, especially if the 4 hour, right? 4 hour has a pretty decent FVG down here, but could I see it still come down maybe here to sweep once more? Sure, it's been doing up, down, right? It's just been kind of chopping around. But long term, like I said, I am very bullish on this. Still nothing, just chopping around, straight chop. Honestly, just keep this on the bigger time frame. Having the 1 minute is nice, right, for finding your entries if you're trying to find, an exact entry. But honestly, this 5 minute kind of just tells you everything. These candles have huge wicks. They're tiny, right? Tiny bodies. And then if you zoom out, dead volume again, just like yesterday night. Yesterday we didn't end up catching. We caught some volume, but it wasn't until 4:45 a.m. when some players started to get into the game. Yeah, that's the time that we started. Yeah, even then, that would have that would have not been worth it compared to the volume that you see here. Even then, look at how much volume we had here. And then the huge volume that we had that day. Yeah, this one makes sense, especially after that sweep and that pivot back up to upside. That was insane, in my opinion. Flag, liquidity grab. Oh, coming. I've seen this setup already before in the past, which is interesting. Oops. Let's see if we come back down below here. Yeah, that's right below VWAP. And right around that line. I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of came down right now, slowly. Kind of came down, bounced around, retested this around this trend area, and then made a move either direction. Funny how we keep rejecting perfectly around this area. And it's not even, I don't even think this is a valid FEG anymore for whatever time frame I had this set on. Oh yeah, no. We're way past this now. We completely ate that 1 hour long time ago. If anything, let's see what we got on that 30 minute. 30 minute is pretty much the same thing that we're rejecting on the small 15 minute one that I caught here. Similarly, I won't really redo this one since it's the same area where we keep rejecting. We keep trying to break above it. We keep getting pulled back down, which is interesting. Yeah, I figured it was gonna come back down. Right back to VWAP for this trend line. And we're either gonna see, right now we're, like I said, we're at equilibrium, so we either have to take New York highs or New York lows. And the question is, which one are we gonna take off first? I wouldn't be surprised if it came down, came back up, hits, and then came way back down, or we continue to generate all this liquidity upside, and then we squeeze it for the continuation back up. Let's see what's over here in play. Testing. Sometimes we can get some movement on Asia sessions. Sometimes it's gonna be dead volume like this. I'll probably be on for another like 8 minutes, something like that. Like I said, I don't want to force anything, or I'm not trying to take anything with the slower price action. All these moves are not really. I mean, 4 points. What am I gonna target? You know, it's not worth it to target when we're so close to VWAP. Same thing to this trail line that we keep respecting. So I don't want to force genuinely anything. This Asia session open at 7 p.m. It's probably a good thing I hop around like 7:38. There we go. Here's another like strat method. 3-1, right? 3-1. You take your entry below here or below this candle. Stops right above this one or this one. It's every trader's different how they adjust their risk. So this trade would have looked like this to then potentially approach lower lows. Which ideally this could still technically happen. Just like I said, we're so close to VWAP. Realistically, that's not somewhere where I would take a trade. I don't like to trade inside the 50% retracement. I could expect the move to happen from one point once it generates enough liquidity, but patience on this one, whether or not you sit through this long until you see paint dry or you see the setup that you need. I wouldn't. Me personally, I'm not gonna chase. Oh, we do have equals down here, and equals tend to act as magnets. So I wouldn't be surprised even if we at least came down here. Huh. Look how perfect. How interesting. That area of interest. What does it trade like here? Comes down here, sweeps, then we make our move back up. I could definitely see that happening. That looks a little more interesting. It looks quite better. The fact that we're the fact that we're right at VWAP, right where that trend line is, it's kind of something to take into consideration. We'll see who's sitting there. Just me, or we're starting to catch some volume? No, we're not. Just these candles. Da, 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 da. Perfect rejection around this area. Right back to the trend line where we keep doing this. Look at that. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we came down to these lows down here. We retested it quite a few times, especially with these equals here, acting like magnets, right? A lot of people play that kind of strategy as well. Very successful. I know some people that are very successful with it too. Everyone has a different approach to how they see the market, but we all see the same thing in some way. Supply and demand zone is the same thing as support and resistance, right? Whether it's a line or it's an area, right? FEGs or inefficiencies are areas where, right, we just gapped, or we went too high, too fast on the way up, or we got filled way too way too fast on the way down, and we leave orders behind. Right, we didn't have time to fill every single trade that came into play. Like I said, something like this. This is slow price action. 4 points just to kind of sit around and do this. Honestly, I'd rather save ourselves a night of watching paint dry and kind of sitting here just watching it, and we'll call it a night for a little earlier for tonight. Like I said, I don't really want to force anything, and don't want to really sit around here when this is all we've been doing, since Asia Open. Asia Open's been open for how long now? For like an hour and a half, and still no movement. We have more dead volume. I think I'm gonna call it short tonight, guys. Have a wonderful night. I don't want to force any trades, like I said. Get off the charts. Go learn. Go spend some time with some education instead. And if anything, we'll come back at it tomorrow. Same time. We'll be back at it tomorrow. More than likely 7:30. And we can hopefully catch some better price action tomorrow. Some more volume during this Asia session. We can't catch a trade every single day. This is part of the game. I'm not going to have you guys, like I said, sit here and give you a whole spiel of how to hold, there's obviously nothing on the charts for us to take yet, right? Is there bigger plays in the bigger picture? 100%. But to sit down right now, and just watch the play out, I think just because of the lower dead volume, rather call it an early night. You guys have a wonderful night. It was thank you to everyone that joined in and commented or asked questions. Leave a like, subscribe, share it to everyone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.